What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So you're at home, you have a blowed head gasket on your car, you have no money, you need to resurface your cylinder head. What do? Well, you can get a glass table like I have behind me if you have a light cylinder head, and you can glue sandpaper onto the table, because glass is one of the flattest things you can get that's easily available, and slide your head back and forth. The problem that you'll run into is that if it's a very heavy cylinder head, like this head here that's off of this Duramax diesel, the sandpaper will rip and tear because it's too much weight on it, it's too much pressure on it. So you can either get a smaller piece of glass and set this up on something upside down like I have it here, and do it that way. It needs to be a thick piece of glass, like at least 3/8 like this. Or you can go to Lowe's or wherever and get a piece of 12 by 24 inch ceramic or porcelain tile like I have done here. You can get this for like $5. It just needs to have a pretty smooth finish on it. Some of it's, very textured. You don't want that. Smooth finish like this here works well. This is one of the flatter things that you can find that's, a board will warp and be warped. So this is one of the flatter things that you can find that's cheap, that you can get. Standard sandpaper, this is 120 grit sandpaper. It also comes from Lowe's. It's this Gator brand right here. I started out with 80 grit. I've got that down there somewhere. And cut a lot of it off, and then I went to this 120 grit. Now, you can probably cut 6 to 8 thousandths depending on the engine. You'll have to look up the specs on your engine to see, and take a ruler and lay across, a metal ruler and lay across, and you can check your flatness and measure with a feeler gauge. Let me see if I got one of them around here. I got someone somewhere. Right back. Alright guys, I found the ruler, found the feeler gauge. What you want to do is lay your ruler across the head like this right here. And if you see any daylight up under the bottom of the ruler here, you want to see which one of these feeler gauges will fit up under that. And that will tell you how bad the head is warped. Obviously, the longer ruler you have, the better. If you have a V6 car, a 1 foot ruler will be fine. This is off of Duramax diesel, obviously a V8. So I could use a little longer ruler, but anyway, this will tell you that, and you need to know your specs on your engine to know how much to cut off the head, but generally 6 to 10 thousandths. You should be okay on most things, I think, but double check to be sure. And on this particular head, being since it's a diesel, you can actually measure how much you're cutting off by the valve, because the valves are flat, and you can measure how much you've removed by sticking your feeler gauge up under between the valve and the ruler that way. This head here is no good because it's been cut too much. To get the pitting out, it was very bad pitted, and I had to cut about 25 to 28 thousandths off of it. So I'm not going to use this head, but I wanted to use this for a demonstration. This will get it flat. There's still actually a couple pits right here around the combustion ring where the gasket was blowed that is not any good. But get yourself some spray adhesive, something like this right here. Piece of 12 by 24 ceramic tile. Spray your spray adhesive on there. Stick your sandpaper on there. If you've got a rolling pin to roll it on, good. That's good. I didn't. You just use my hands. You want to use something like this PB blaster here to spray on the head and on the sandpaper, just to keep the aluminum from clogging up your sandpaper here. Just something like that. And then you take this, put it on there flat, and it does not take a lot of pressure to do this. Just go back and forth. You put your palm right there and just kind of guide it over here on this side. You kind of go at it that way a little bit, and it takes a little time, but it's not bad. If you got time and you don't have money, and you don't want to go to the machine shop and leave your heads for a week, and all you need to do is true them up a little bit. You don't want to do a valve job and all that. you can go at it with this right here, and you should come out with a flat head if you're doing everything right. Oh, got the sandpaper hung. And if you start out with, I wouldn't go with 80 grit unless it's bad warp, or you see that you need it. I would probably try the 120 to start with, because if you go with the 80 to start with, you'll have some gouges. It's going to take you a while to get surfaced out, and it needs to be a pretty smooth finish. You don't want to have big gouges that the 80 grit's going to leave in there. So I would try the 120. If you need the 80, go with the 80, then go back to 120 to true it up. But you see that's removing right there, as you can tell. And then take you a paper towel like this. You buy them $2 a roll or whatever. And you wipe the head off like this. Removes the metal from there. And you can take a little bit more of your PB Passer, WD-40, whatever you're using there, and spray on that. And you can see how the aluminum there just runs off. It does not stick to the paper that way. And go at it again until you check it, till you get your head flat, and it is what you're wanting. In order to change your sandpaper, I mean, you can get 3 or 4 pieces of tile if you want to. We'll speed the job up, but just get you a putty knife like this here. Put them under the edge of it like that, scrape it off, and brake clean. Clean the glue off of it, spray more glue on it, start over. I'll show you a little bit closer on this head here. You can see the 80 grit gouges I've left in it, and you can see the difference in the 120. Let me bring you back over here a little closer so you can see. Alrighty, let's see. Can you see right here? I don't know how well this camera's picking this up, but you can see right here some 80 grit gouges that I haven't got sanded out yet. But you can see across this right here, the 120 grit, it's a lot smoother. But you can tell how much I've cut off this head. I've got all the way down into the valve. And actually on a Duramax, from what I understand, you're really not supposed to even surface the heads on them. Maybe just clean them up 4 or 5 thousandths. You can if you do a valve job as well, and you countersink the valves in the head further and cut the valve stems if they're too long on the other side to get your valve adjustment right. But for the time, the labor, and everything that is required to do this, I'm not doing that. I bought some brand new heads I'm putting on it. You can see how gunked up these are from the EGR valve that's been a diesel, and just the time and labor that it's going to take. I did not realize the head was that bad originally, and you can still see, let's see here, you can still see right here, there's still a little bit of pitting right here around this ring groove, and that's after, like I say, 25 to 28,000, somewhere in there. It's hard to measure exactly, but you can still see a little bit of a gap there, and around the holes here you can still see a little bit of pitting. So you can imagine how bad it was beforehand. I'll actually show you the good head over here, or I think it's a good head. I've not touched it yet. I just decided to buy 2 brand new heads just because of the time and the money that's going to take it. If I had to carry this head to machine shop and do the valve job and all that, because it took so much off the head, I'm not going to do that. So I'll show you the other head over here and what it looks like. All right, guys, this is the other head that come off the same truck here, 07 LBZ Duramax, and this head I think would probably clean up, but since I had to buy one head, this truck's got 300,000 miles on it. Went ahead and bought a second head as well. Just the cost of them just wasn't worth it to me to even mess with this one after I seen the first one wasn't going to clean up as I thought. But I do think this head here would clean up. It seems to have less pitting The gasket was not blown on this side, so it should not be as warped. But just the time and labor and everything it takes to do this, you can see down in there, totally ditched him on this, just for the time and labor factor of it. It was worth it to me to buy a new head, so that's something that you'll have to ask yourself as well. You know, if you've had the money and you want to buy a head, or you want to carry your heads to the machine shop, weigh the price. Sometimes there's only a couple $100 difference, and putting a brand new head on something, or a remanufactured head, or carrying yours to the machine shop and waiting on them for 2 weeks, or you can resurface it yourself if you have no money, and that was the purpose of this video, show you guys that you can clean them up, true them up, and make it work, especially if it's a car that's easy to get the heads off of and not something like this. But it will still work on this, and that's what I was going to do. But after I found out I had to cut so much because the head was damaged pretty much beyond what the maximum allowable resurfaceability is, I just bought 2 new heads for it. So that's what I'll be doing. But anyway, I hope this video helps you guys. If you're trying to figure out how to resurface your heads at home, you have a blowed head gasket, you don't want to spend the money, take to the machine shop, pay them $500 or $600, piece of ceramic tile, some sandpaper, I don't know, $50 probably. Time you buy the brake clean, PB Blaster, WD-40, whatever, you can do it yourself. So anyway, thanks for watching, you guys. Hit the subscribe button if you like this type stuff. We got a Duramax project going on behind me, so there'll be more on this project to come. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next time.